Neo, the savior of humanity, the one who resurrected and flew beyond the black clouds, the one who would soon save us from a terrible evil. These were the prayers of the humans of Zion, who had awaited their entire lives for the arrival of their savior, without knowing that said legend was a lie. But what if, like the Red Pills, we are being controlled by Messiah archetypes? In this video, we will be analyzing the story of the false savior and the sacrifice for humanity. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
To understand how the Matrix uses the savior archetype to control humans, we must begin with the legend of the One. The belief of the Messiah in the Matrix said that in the past, a human was born within the simulation and gained special powers. They realized the falsehood of the simulation and freed the first humans. Together they created the city of Zion and formed the resistance against the machines. The Oracle soon after offered her assistance to their cause. Then the Savior disappeared, but swore to return. The second coming of the Savior would happen through a child born unnaturally within the Matrix. This child would have supernatural abilities like no other. This is why the Oracle had children at her home. She would test them to see if any of them would be the next one. But the next one would be found by Morpheus and would be loved by Trinity. Then Neo appeared, a young man who becomes the savior after dying and resurrecting to fight for humanity and finally sacrifice himself for everyone. The parallels of this belief with other saviors in history are more than obvious, especially Neo's similarities with Jesus Christ, a child born unnaturally who sacrificed himself for humanity, died on a cross, or making the shape of a cross, and later resurrected. Unlike other saviors of humanity, who in their religions have sacrificed themselves for everyone, Neo's story is not a tale of a savior of mankind. It is of a savior who turns his back on mankind because of his selfishness. And this was by design. When the architect gives Neo the choice between humanity and Trinity, Neo chooses Trinity.
The door to your right leads to the source and the salvation of Zion. The door to your left leads back to the Matrix, to her and to the end of your species. Hope. It is the quintessential human delusion, simultaneously the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weakness.
Neo becomes the anti-Messiah who chooses to turn his back on everything for one person.
It was a lie, Morpheus. The prophecy was a lie. The One was never meant to end anything. It was all another system of control.
Later, Neo understands that he must die for humanity after Trinity dies. He understands that he has to give his life to stop Smith, but his sacrifice was in vain. Neo ends up trapped in the Matrix again, being manipulated by the Analyst. After Matrix Revolutions, we thought that Neo had finally accomplished something his predecessors hadn't, dying for the betterment of both humans and machines, making real change. The Oracle told Neo that she believed in him, which is why she had faith.
Did you always know?
Oh no, I didn't. But I believed.
What began as a lie became truth. Maybe Neo was the savior, or was he? Although Neo died a hero, it didn't matter. Everything that happened only made it more apparent that Neo was part of the Matrix cycle. Everything went according to the machine's plan. Most of the people who blindly followed the prophecy also died. Morpheus paid a great price for once believing that Neo was the one. For 60 years, doubt grew amongst the people, wondering if Neo was in fact working for the machines all along. Neo's adventures become legend, and the new people of Io wait for his return. The cycle continues. It was already known that the prophecy of the One was a lie, but even so, many followers of Neo believed that he would return. The Oracle's makeshift religion endured even after the destruction of Zion.
Berg is our resident neologist.
A what?
There's a lot of people out there like me who are a little bit obsessed with your life.
I would never have recognized your modal if it weren't for him.
In Matrix Resurrections, Neo again fights to rescue Trinity, and humanity takes a back seat. The idea of Neo being a savior needs to be forgotten. We can no longer think of him as a Jesus archetype. He is simply a man who fights for the love of a woman, Trinity. Even though in the background, there were people like Bugs who were waiting for the one to return.
I know these things the same way that I knew one day I would find you.
Neo was never the one. He was never a savior. It was a simple system exploited by the Matrix to keep people trapped in ignorance. But was the story of the savior always a lie in the Matrix? At the end of Matrix Resurrections, both Neo and Trinity have powers, yet the analyst doesn't seem concerned.
How dramatic.
Tiffany?
It would seem that Neo and Trinity would take up the role as saviors to free humanity, although it seems unlikely. The endings of Matrix 4 and 1 are almost identical, suggesting that the cycle of the Messiah is a recurring pattern within the Matrix. A Messiah arrives, disappears, and later reappears only to be absorbed back into the Matrix. This indicates that the concept of the savior is another system within the Matrix, and that, in truth, there never was a savior. Every narrative in the Matrix franchise almost always has a double reference. This one presents us with the concept of what a Messiah should be and how it can be used to manipulate us, and not only from a religious point of view, believing that a savior would soon rescue us from evil. These savior archetypes are used in politics, where government leaders declare themselves as bringing salvation to the people. They appeal to the people's desire for a messianic figure with leadership and authority, which makes them easily manipulated and controlled. Biologically speaking, some people have tried to propose that humans have always looked for the alpha leader, the head of the herd. Humans are pack creatures. We need leaders. And the Messiah represents the ultimate leader, the one who would lead us to the promised land. The concept of the Messiah is a powerful force in the human psyche, and thus corrupted leaders, politicians, and cults use it to manipulate millions of people around the world. Perhaps the Matrix shares more with our reality than you thought. So check your religious, social, and political leaders, for they could be part of a system of control that has created a prison that you cannot touch or smell. A prison for the mind.
A prison for your mind.
But do you agree? Was Neo ever the savior? Is the concept of the Messiah archetype used as a manipulation tactic? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.